Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jason with JWClassicVW. Welcome back to vlog, welcome back to the show, and it is Sunday night. I'm trying to get this video done for you guys and get it out to you tomorrow morning, sometime, hopefully. Well, in the last video, we started the breakdown of the 2287, I believe I said. Well, that little monster down there, guys. Oh, baby. I was a little bit wrong on that. It's actually a 2180. Not an 86 crank, but an 84 crank with VW journals, because an 86 crank that's a flanged fit from CB Performance would be, you know, Chevy type journals. So guys, what are we doing today? Right at the intro, getting some good stuff. We're going to talk about what I've done to prep the block, issues I've ran into, and some of the things that we've picked up. Lots of questions. I want to talk about the Autocraft oil pump, how that whole thing works, the scavenging, and you know, there's been quite a few questions about that. Also, there were some questions about the Pauter Rockers. So we're going to talk about the Pauter Rockers as well. Right at the intro, guys. Get into that content. See you in a second. Alright guys, so in the last video, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out up over here. In the last video, we were pulling off the heads, the DRD Super Race heads up here. Yeah. With the dual valve springs. Well, the lash caps are put away in a box up here right now. And these badassery valves. Yes, that's right. I said it, badassery. Tell your kids to cover their ears. There might be some foul language here and there. Well, these valves, along with the pistons, have ceramic coating on them. Pretty sweet, man. Pretty sweet. So, back to the block. I get so distracted pretty easily. Let me guys get you set up in the tripod so I can kind of explain what I've been up to. Wheeling on in from a wide angle view, guys. So here she is. This is one of those Autolino cases, man, and this is one from CB Performance. And the way you can tell, it's actually stamped down here on the side. You want to see where it's stamped? Well, geez Louise, fine. Let's turn this up over here. Ooh. So you can see the CB Performance. Yeah, man. Well, you can't see it still? How about this? Can you see now? Yeah, CB Performance. Autolino. Whoa. God, zoom out, bro. Oh, you guys want to come back over a little closer? Okay, my bad. My bad. Let me get you set up. So what I had to do was prep these surfaces and get the block ready to accept the cylinders again. And there was all kinds of RTV and silicone on here, and you know, down here with the push rod tubes too. So I had to clean all that up. I pulled all the studs out and resealed them with blue thread locker. Blue thread locker is resistant to oil, and you want to have some sort of thread locker in there. Blue is a little easier to remove. If you use red, you might have to heat it up. So I put a little bit of blue thread locker in here to help the oil from coming out of the studs themselves, and that can happen. I have all kinds of different silicone choices we're going to talk about today when it comes to sealing your pistons against the actual block. But first off, guys, we're going to talk about the Autocraft oil pump. Autocraft oil pump. I'm gonna put some pictures up over here and over here. Yeah, Autocraft oil pump. Pretty sweet. And this is a 1.5 stage, which means it has the ability to do some siphoning. Let me bring you guys down a little closer. Let's talk about this Autocraft oil pump. Ooh, baby. There she is, guys. All the power, all the majesticity. I don't think that's a word. Majesty of the Autocraft oil pump. In high power applications, what you want to be able to do is scavenge or pull oil from the outer parts of the engine, because you're putting oil through her so fast at high revs with high horsepower that you have to have a way to get oil to all of the components and back to the engine faster than you would with a stock application. With drag cars, this actual cover plate here can come off, and they put a fuel pump on the front of that. Now, I'm not so sure on how all that works, so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the scavenging. And with the turbo, we really need that because, well, you got oil that goes to the turbo and then oil that comes back from the turbo. With these one-off valve covers that are made by Daryl with Race Engineering, you can see that they're set up with a 90-degree AN fitting on the bottom. So these valve covers come on out here, and you got a line that comes out to the valve cover and then comes back to the oil pump. And the oil pump sucks all the oil in through here and then back through into the engine. Yeah, I've got what I call these my Fruit Loop fittings. I'm gonna look for some AN fittings that are anodized the same way as the other ones, because I got black and I've got the the red and blue ones, which, you know, I guess that's kind of patriotic. So, how does it all work? How's the flow go? Oil comes in from the large 10 or 12 AN fitting up into the backside, or the first stage of this 1.5 stage oil pump. Through there, gets pushed out from this side, this fitting over there, out to the oil filter, which the oil filter is right there, kind of hanging out right now. From the oil filter back to the oil cooler, which is going to be mounted on the torsion tube. You guys have already seen the one that I made. And then back recirculating to the oil pump. Also, while it's doing all that, it's scavenging from the valve covers at the same time, and scavenging from the turbo. Lots of plumbing going on here. Lots of plumbing. Pretty cool. Pretty sweet. Let's move up to the bench, guys, and talk about what's going on up there and some of the other questions you've had about those Pauter Rockers. Yeah, baby. Those gorgeous monsters. Guys, before we move over to the bench and talk about some of these other cool things and what we got going on, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Enable notifications so you can get future content from Jason and Goose, JWClassicVW. Now, back to the video. Okay, all right, we're at the bench, and we got lots of stuff to talk about. First, we got some stuff that came, some of the things we're going to talk about when it comes to what we have coming in the future. I had to order some parts because you'll see we had a tragedy while taking apart the Total Seal rings. I'm bringing you down here a little bit and show you a little bit closer to that. Pauter Rockers. Some of you guys had some questions about these and like, why do they come apart the way that they do? Well, from my understanding, that's the way they're supposed to come apart, guys. We'll bring you down a little closer and show you what that's all about. The one-off valve covers, and I had to clean up all the pistons to get them prepped and ready for some honing and resealing. And what am I going to use to seal my cylinders, guys? We talked about that. So let's first talk about what I use to seal my cylinders to my engine. So this is like a question that lots of people bring up, and there's probably as many solutions to sealing your engine, your VW engine, as there are opinions on what to use. So let's first get this bag of goodies out of here. All kinds of good stuff in there. Some of this stuff is sealant, some of it is not. I got the standard gasket kit. Fun stuff that came. I got new copper gaskets, copper ring gaskets for the cylinders to the heads. Turbo application is something you definitely want to think about using that. This is a surprise for later. Probably not today. These are some special, there's a certain kind of actual rubber seal that I like to use on my push rod tube seal. And 3-bond 1211, 3-bond 1184, pure LT. Some of the copper good stuff, you can see I've used that in the past. And just your standard red high temp silicone. Some people use black silicone, that's fine as well. So for cylinder sealing, you know, cylinder to the actual block, the engine block, I've been using this copper stuff and it's been working great. I've also heard that people use the, well, I know I use this too, I've used this a few times, the red type high temp silicone, this high temp red silicone. They have it in black as well. That works really well. For sealing my engine case halves, I've been using this Cure LT because it stays kind of flexible. It doesn't harden up, which is a good thing, I think. People stick to that never-ending battle between aviation gasket sealer, which is the die-hard go-to. I use this high-tech gasket sealant when it comes to some of my paper gaskets, you know, for your oil fill or the oil stand or your generator stand. And sometimes I put this on my pushrod tubes, but I haven't been doing that for quite a bit. All I've been doing for the pushrod tubes lately is just oiling these up. Put a little bit of oil on there, and then that seems to be working quite well, actually. This 3-bond, I've never used this before. I've heard good things about it, so I was gonna go ahead and try it out. Comment below, guys. Have you ever used the 3-bond? This is a 1211. One of these is for silicone-based gasket, like this one right here. This one is supposed to be for, I think, let me see. This is the one that some people are using when it comes to sealing the case halves, the 1211. And then some people are using this one, the liquid gray, to seal the cylinders to the block. And I think that's because of the temperature specifications on it. They can handle the temps, and it's good for oil, right? So which one do you guys use? Comment below on the silicone choice that you go with. Now let's move over to the pistons and talk about what the heck happened and what we have to look forward to in the future. So yeah, when I say future, I mean a future episode, because the oil seal, this is the oil or the secondary ring, compression ring on the total seal rings. It broke when I went to go take it off, because that happens. And if you've been following my social media, you know, Facebook group or Instagram, you've already kind of seen that happened to me. The top ring, this is on this set that I happen to have on these pistons and cylinders. The top ring is the total seal ring. And the way that works is you have two different rings that interlock with each other to create this gapless compression ring for your top ring. And I guess you can do that with a secondary ring as well. I don't have a lot of experience with the total seal yet, but that's growing. Now with my pistons, you can see that these are the hyperutenic or hypertonic type of pistons that are thicker. Like I did some research, and I can see that they add some extra material inside of here to be able to handle some of the forces that come onto these pistons when it's being turboed. You can see that it's got the 1 or the 1.5 gap, the 2 millimeter gap, and then the 4 millimeter gap down here for the oil slicker. Yeah, I also marked them too, so I could tell which one's which. Number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Pretty cool that they are ceramic coated as well. Daryl, the guy that I bought the engine from, had that done on both the piston tops and the valve tops. I think it's supposed to help with reduction in heat, which is pretty sweet. So I ordered all new rings. You can buy just the total seal ring itself, the secondary ring that seals, or the top ring that seals, or you can buy the whole kit. And I just went ahead and bought the whole kit. We're going to be redoing all of the piston rings, rehoning the cylinders. These are those 92 millimeter thick wall cylinders. I'm going to be rehoning all of these cylinders and getting them ready to reinstall. I've already cleaned them up, as you can see. They've got spacers on them to get the compression ratio where it needs to be. And I resurfaced kind of like this area here that mates against the copper gasket, because we got new copper gaskets. And the way I did that is just with a flat surface, some sandpaper, and just went back and forth until it was nice and smooth. Very good. Let's talk about some Pauter rockers now, guys. Over here. They are pretty, the Pauter 1:4 ratio rockers. And you got to be careful when you pull these apart, because they have the shims on them. Whoa! And they just kind of fall apart. Yeah, I was kind of curious about this whole setup too when I first started playing with it, because it seemed like something was missing. It really did. This goes on the inside here. It seemed like something was missing when it came to how this was all held together, because I was like, is that the way it's supposed to be? Is this just supposed to come apart like that? I don't think that's right. Without any kind of like clip on there or whatever. But that is how it works. That is how it works. It's very interesting. So this one was on here. This shim was here. This was here. And then this was there. And that's how they go. See, it got shims inside of here. And the way that it all stays together is it's clamped down with some clamping force when you put them together on the actual head studs for the rockers, or rocker studs. Very cool. Pauter rockers, guys. It says right on the side here too, the 1:4 ratio. You guys see that? Yeah, right there, 1:4. So some people were asking about the clip, and the clips are there. They just come apart whenever you have them off the stand, the rocker stands. Pretty interesting. High horsepower, high torque stuff, very cool. So I guess it's more of just like an update today. Some of the things that I did, and if you pay attention towards the end of the video, if you want to stay tuned, I did a time lapse where I time-lapsed all the work I did on the block there to get her ready to go. Can't wait to get the new rings in. They should be shipping out like Monday or Tuesday. I had to order some new spark plugs too. Spark plugs, the rings, the honer. There's a special powder type material you use to break in those rings. Yeah, we'll talk about that more, guys, in a future episode when we go ahead and do the total seal ring install. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned to future videos. It's going to be coming. But as of for today, guys, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. I sure did. I just put this little video together for you guys, kind of more of an update. Hope everything is going good for your new year so far. Hope you had a great holiday season. And am I gonna do a wrap-up, a 2021 wrap-up video? I might. You guys wanna see a 2021 wrap-up video where I kinda go over everything that I did this last year? Comment below. Maybe I'll put one out there. And yeah, that's it, guys. See you guys in the next episode. This is Jason from JWClassicVW, and get out in the garage, do some work. Get her back on the road. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.